Hello, people. Welcome back to the Growth Mindset. Guys, I'm your host, Salawat Irshad, and today we have an amazing guest on our podcast, Azaan Sait, who is 26 years old. Now, Azaan is one of the youngest entrepreneurs I personally know of who's actually killing it. Now, Azaan, has a co-working, co-living space in Bangalore called as The Hub, which has a great community. This community contains of some really diverse people, and that is what makes it one of the most interesting communities out there. So let's talk to Azaan and understand about what are some very important things every entrepreneur must be aware of when they're starting a business, and also to make sure how or what are the tips required to make a solid community to make sure that your company succeeds. So here we go. First thing first, thank you so much, Azaan, for your time on the Growth Mindset podcast.
Happy to be here.
Now, Azaan, for people who don't know you, right, would you just like to go ahead and give a quick introduction about yourself?
Sure. So let me preface that by I'm still learning how to introduce myself.
Mm-hmm.
As an entrepreneur, I'm in the middle of a dilemma where I used to introduce myself as the Chief Happiness Officer, the founder and Chief Happiness Officer of Safina Ventures, a startup that wants to work on projects in the hospitality, real estate, and technology space. Our first brand that we created was the Hub. Under the Hub, we have three divisions. We have co-living, co-working, and shared event spaces. So that's kind of like our main primary business. And then we have a second business that we launched called Safina Banquets, which is again a play on the event spaces, private events and stuff like that. However, with the lockdown almost 3 to 4 weeks ago, I've started to have kind of an identity crisis, just as my business is going through one as well.
Yeah.
How do I introduce myself? What is it that I'm doing? Because from the day the lockdown got enforced, all our businesses were hit hard. So there was no more co-working, very little co-living, no more events. So we've just been in this process. We're trying to have fun. We're trying to rediscover how we can fundamentally do the same thing that we were doing, which is building a community, bringing people together. But instead of doing that offline in physical spaces, how can we take it online and touch more lives, connect more people, be a platform where more people can see the talent that's performing or that's trying to share a message. And it's just been a super interesting journey trying to figure out what we're trying to do, and by that process, what my designation or title will be.
Sure. You've told a lot of important things right off the bat. So I'm gonna catch one thing at a time and ask you basically with that. So before we get on to the next level of questions, I want to understand, when did you start this hub, the community hub, or when did you start your entrepreneur journey? How old were you?
I guess I started my entrepreneurial journey a long time ago, because I always, from the time I was in school, high school, college, I always knew I wanted to do something. I didn't know what it was. And that always kind of like drove me to keep asking questions, learning about different things, everything from finance to like tech, so many different, even explore the arts to see what could be done there. And I studied entrepreneurship and marketing at USC, and when I was in LA, I got a lot of exposure. I got the opportunity to be on a lot of boards of entrepreneurship-related organizations, travel a lot, meet my friends in different parts of the US, the world, get different perspectives, come back to India, get more perspectives, and I guess all of it kind of culminated in me just wanting to create a space where adults could play. So I really enjoyed school. I enjoyed university, and everyone kept saying that ride is about to get over. Now you have to get serious. You need to go into work. And I kept thinking to myself, why is it that like in the 21st century, when everything is so chill and new and cool, why is it that message is still the same? Why do you tell a senior graduating from college, get ready to start working, enjoy the party, your last semester?
True.
Right? So I guess I guess that kind of like irked me, and I was like, maybe let's find a way to like make this next phase of life between graduating college and maybe settling down and having a family. let's make that space more exciting. Let's disrupt it. Let's make it fun for people to live in that time. And I guess all these ideas were born from it. So co-living, where we started, we entered co-working. And then once we had over 200 members that we had to manage and deal with and keep happy, we started doing a lot of events. When we started doing a lot of events organically, it kind of just happened where people said, why don't you open these events? And we were like, yeah, why not? We're already putting so much work into them. So we became an open community space where everyone could come together in central Bangalore. They could collaborate on art. Someone wants to talk about digital marketing. We've worked with TEDx. We've worked with brands like Bumble. We've worked with guys that you've never heard of because that was their first event they ever did in life. So we've held their hands. We've taken them up. We've learned from established creators, and we've taught upcoming creators. So we've gone through all of those, different ways of working with different people in different industries, different sectors, or different professional levels. And it's just been such an amazing journey of learning more than anything else for us. And today, again, with Instagram lives and trying to go virtual as a business, it's all part of the same thing, right? You keep your eyes open. Try and solve the problems that come your way, but keep your eyes open for new opportunities, because with every crisis comes a new opportunity, right?
Exactly.
So we're just trying to dabble in this new space of online and see where we can go with it.
And it's pretty interesting to see that you guys, because I've been at a few events at the hub. I've been to the Human Library event. One of my friend got engaged there, and then that Haldi Rasam also was there in Safina Plaza. So I've been a couple of times, and I'm really, one thing that I've observed at the hub is the kind of people that come there, right? There's different variety of people from different culture, different background, different countries, and they all come there together. And the people that I've spoken to, I've heard this quite a lot of times, that the culture you have there is pretty lively. Okay, now I want to understand how you made that environment lively.
So what is so unique about what we're doing, about our community, about our culture at the hub? I think a large part of it is just when you start a business, when you start a community, you need to identify what are the values that this community stands for. You need to set that down, but it's equally important to then let those values be a guideline, but let them not be a restricting factor. So we set up that we wanted to have an open space, a safe space, a community that respected everyone, and we wanted it to be diverse. We didn't want to target only students, only artists, only entrepreneurs. We wanted it to be a melting pot, a place where everyone can come together. And then from there, I have seen, and sometimes it's been amazing, sometimes it's been hard. I've seen that community morph and morph and morph into completely different things over the years. So we've had phases where it's become super artistic, phases where it's become super techy and nerdy, phases where it's like gone into fitness, and allowing that community to exist as its own organism is been something that it's like seeing your child grow up, right? Your child may go through phases. He may be in like a gothic phase, or he may be a bratty phase in the teenagers. But understanding that you gave your kid the values, and now you trust them to kind of evolve and learn and become who they want to become. So by doing that, I've just realized that you're allowing people to take ownership of that community. So then that community is no longer yours. It belongs to the members that are part of it at that point of time. And I think that's what drives people. They're like, this is my community. This is my hub. This is what it stands for. And it may not be the same 6 months from now if they move on and they move on with their life and a new bunch of kids come in. So just being flexible and letting it kind of take course. That's been the biggest learning lesson for me as an entrepreneur.
That's a very well put answer. And what you've just said, right? Having the right values set first is, I also personally believe, is the guiding force for everybody out there. If your values are set, eventually things will also work out. All right. Now, coming back to the hub, I'm seeing that you guys, now it's just not your company, but every company which is into co-living or co-working space has taken a hit because of this pandemic event, right? How are you coping? I know one of the platforms that you guys are doing is you're going extensively live on Instagram. right? I've seen that you guys at least have what, 4 or 5 daily live sessions, right? Which is pretty interesting. So what is your vision towards taking this company to the next level?
I don't know where we are heading as a society, as a country, as a world. So I'm trying to look for signs of a trend. I'm trying to figure out which way things could be heading, but I'm trying to tell our team, keep our heads down. Right now, we're onto something. Whether things go back to the way they were or not, people are going to be online. People are going to have trends like remote working, working from home.
Yeah.
They may not be there as much as it is now, but definitely people have got a taste for it. They've got a feel for this new way of working, this work-life balance. So I think it's going to be a shift in the way people look at work and the relationship, their relationship with work. So we're trying to keep our heads down, focus on the thousands of small things we need to do to build up on this new platform, and to kind of talk to new people every day on Instagram. I personally look and talk to a lot of people. So we have artists, we have businesses, we have moms, we have kids, we have people from all over the world that are reaching out to us. They're saying, hi, what are you guys doing? What is this? Can I be a part of it? Can I watch it? Can I teach on it? And we're just listening to everyone. We're talking to everyone, and we're trying to figure out, by talking to them, what is the problem we're solving. So are we a learning platform? Not exactly. Are we a teaching platform? Not exactly. Are we just a place where people connect and then maybe get exposed to new things? I'm thinking that's something like what we're doing right now. But yeah, I'm trying not to define us too early. I'm just saying, let's work with as many people as we can and let them tell us what to do.
Perfect. And since you started something at a very early age, right? Now there are also a lot of people out there who also want to start their own business, or make their name in fitness industry, or it could be any artistry related work, anything, right? So according to you, what are some things that people should concentrate, especially the young ones, right? Let's say anywhere between 22, 23 plus, who are trying to make a personal brand or trying to create themselves. What should they do to create a mark?
Good question. The only advice I could give someone else is the same thing that I'm doing, which is you have supporters, you have family, you have your followers on Instagram, you have your connections on LinkedIn, you have your friends on Facebook, you have your school friends, you have your WhatsApp groups you're part of. Ask. People know you better than you know yourself sometimes. You have an idea, but you need people to tell you, lean this way, don't lean that way. So a simple thing which many people, I don't see many people doing, is ask a freaking poll on Instagram. Our entire business was built by asking people things. So on even our co-working space, we had a poll on Instagram. What art should we buy? People literally voted for it. And if your friends and your community are voting for the way you go, they're more likely to support you. They're more likely to know your story. They don't know you as a successful co-living guy. They know you as the guy who started along and they followed you up your journey, even when you failed, even when you went up. And that's how you build a connection with an audience, and you keep it real, right? It's not the polished picture of you on Forbes magazine. It's how you got there, or you didn't.
True. And what about mentors? Because see, this is a time, 23, 24 years old, where you actually need somebody to at least guide you or show you the right path. So what, according to you, people should do that could help them be on the right track? What kind of mentors they should look at? What are some right flags and red flags? Because I personally believe that you have a lot of mentors.
Yeah, I do. And some of them don't even know that they're my mentors, because a lot of them are people I follow on Instagram and LinkedIn. So they don't have a choice. So
interesting.
Today, more than ever, it's so easy, right? We all have access to basic platforms. LinkedIn has become a content sharing platform from just a place where everyone used to put their resume. LinkedIn influencers are basically mentors sharing content on a daily basis about what's working for them and what's not. LinkedIn content is very specific. It's like, today I did this. Yep. This is how I did this. This is how not to do this. It's amazing the amount of knowledge that's out there for free. All you have to do is follow them. Follow someone you think is cool on LinkedIn who's killing it. Follow them, engage with their comment, engage with their post, comment on it, like it. After a few months, send them a message. Hey, I've been following you for a while. I love all these things you're talking about. I'd love to I'd love to get on a call with you. You will be surprised. You'll be blown out of your mind by how many people are willing to help. Today,
Yep.
I brought on a mentor of mine on the Hub Live. His name
Yep.
is Tyler Logson.
Yep.
He was one of my earliest mentors in life. When I was at USC, in an entrepreneurship class, he walked in like a baggy t-shirt, jeans, and white sneakers. And he was that guy, you know, that when you're getting into entrepreneurship, you're looking up, you're like, I don't want to wear a suit. I want to be that guy. He was that guy for me. I was lucky. I was able to meet him in real life. I was able to approach him after he said yes. But again, like with my experience with mentorship is a lot of people are willing to help. You have to ask, and it has to make sense. You can't go ask a rock star to be your mentor because he's famous, right? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work. You need to research their field. When you go and when you get that moment in an elevator, if you're stuck with the right person, do you know enough of what they're talking about to strike up a conversation? Because knowledge is power. If you know what you're talking about, your nerves are not going to play such an important role because you know there's so much you want to talk, right? So that's the last thing you're worried about. Read up, connect, use these platforms, use Instagram. You can DM anyone in this world. When could you ever DM, like back in the old day, could you DM a famous celebrity? No, but today you can,
Nope.
right? Whether it gets read or not is different. But again, there are other ways you can engage with them. So if someone's on Instagram live and you go on that live and you comment, they're more likely to see it than if you DM. There's so many things you can do to connect and reach out to people. I think it's an amazing time for people who are looking to connect. I think there's never been a better time.
Yep. Cool. And what about books, Azaan? Do you read books as well?
I have a lot of books. I read some of them, but
Okay.
I think I'm too impatient. My personality is too impatient. I want typical millennial behavior, right? Like we want everything quick and like summarized. So I do read books sometimes to calm down in the night, get deeper concepts where it's important. But I love podcasts. I think they're an amazing way to. I was just talking to someone else the other day about this, and I was saying that podcast is such a good way to get compressed information very quickly on the go. So that's why I like them. I also absolutely love YouTube. I think I watch 3 hours of YouTube a day minimum, and this is not like creative content. I watch things like Bloomberg Tech. I watch things about so Tesla and Elon Musk have like fanatics who just make videos about them. I watch a couple of those because it gives you an idea of like what are trends going in different ways, right? And I like to engage with a lot of brands on YouTube because they are all talking about what they're doing next. You just have to watch. They're putting it out there.
Yeah. And what are you most passionate about?
What am I most passionate about? I'm passionate about doing something that matters. I'm passionate about taking as much action as I possibly can. And then what impact that makes, I can't plan for that. But the one thing that I've always told myself is that like, I don't want to just consume, because it's so easy today to sit at home, to consume Netflix, to consume Facebook, to consume Instagram, to consume LinkedIn, and to consume Disney Plus, and before you know it, your day's over, right? I want to contribute on all these platforms. So I want to make content that goes out and helps people, and content that's not one way, like do this, do that. Content that find a way to make it engaging. So like what we're doing on Instagram Live, why we chose live, why we didn't do like YouTube, right? YouTube could be higher quality. We could have done it on Zoom. It could have been like super high definition. Instagram it's so messy. You can't save it. You have to screen record the shit after. You have to, like, audio goes all messed up. Your network goes up and down. But why Instagram, despite all of that? It's for all the imperfect moments on Instagram, and all the difficulties of dealing with it as a platform. It's raw. There's no rehearsal. You make your mistakes, you move on, and people can engage in lifetime. If they don't like what you're saying, they're telling you right there, you suck, talk about something else. You have to be like thick-skinned. You have to take it. You have to be able to guide the person you're with to jump to the next topic. And if you do that, you see people respond well. So it's like that lifetime interaction that's so cool.
Yeah. And normally, since, as you said, since you pointed about Instagram, right, this is obviously one of the most fastest growing platform, or you could say the quality of content or people following Instagram is much more higher, right?
Yeah.
So is it the reason why you think Instagram is a better platform for people who want to, make their own personal brand? Or do you think, they should also focus on other platforms to make their own personal brand?
If you're building a personal brand, which I agree 100% today is the most important thing you can do as an individual, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're an employee, or a mom, your personal brand is who you are. And if all these platforms are online, your personal brand on all these platforms will define who you are offline. Saying that, every single platform is important. Some are more important than others. You can't humanly do all of them at the same time. As your team grows, you can get better at multiple platforms. But Instagram is very important. LinkedIn is very important. If you have the resources and the time, YouTube is very important. TikTok could be very important. I don't know. I'm on the fence on it yet. What else is there? Facebook is important for its own reasons, although not as much compared to Instagram nowadays. Who knows? It could swing back, right? All these platforms are important, and it depends who you are. Are you an artist? Then man, Instagram and YouTube are your thing. Forget about everything else. Are you someone who has opinions, who has the courage to take on people? Go to Twitter. Look at Mr. Mohandas Pai, right? So it depends. You need to find your two platforms that are like so important that you go all in on them, and then try your best to repurpose content for the other 5 platforms. So when we do our Instagram lives, we record every session, screen record every session. We put them, it's one on top of the other. We put them side by side, and we add text, and we make it into a YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn video. So it's a lot of work, but it's less work than going and shooting on all 5 platforms, right?
Makes sense. Absolutely. Now, Azaan, you've traveled to a lot of different countries as well, right? Now, obviously, you've had, as you said in the beginning, you've seen different perspectives which actually help you make better decisions. Now, what are, I would say, 2 things that you've learned by traveling all the different places? Any top 2 things that you've learned by traveling?
I love traveling. I think when you said traveling, you could see I just started smiling. I look forward at every opportunity I can to go to new places, try new things, see new things. Only I don't like to eat new things. So I eat the same thing wherever I go. I'll go to a McDonald's or a Burger King, or like I'll eat Indian food. So I'm very
Any specific reason?
I'm just a very picky eater. I don't eat meat. I don't eat meat, and I just eat chicken, but I don't eat any other form of meat. So I have a very specific, like I'm a weird eater. So that's a whole other podcast episode. Okay. But something that 2 things that I learn when I travel. One obviously is externally. I always find inspiration. So I'm super, like, it's weird to say this, but I'm super into architecture and design, like interior design, and like the way spaces are designed to kind of facilitate certain interaction or flow of people in them. So I'm super inspired by that. If you look at my phone, 70% of my phone would be pictures of buildings and pictures of carpets and couches and like all of this kind of stuff, because I find it super interesting. And the other 30% is obviously dogs. So just looking at different ways that architecture is used in different cities and different cases to kind of encourage the flow of people to different spaces, that's been super interesting. And space design, and that's inspired me in what I've created and built at the hub. When introspectively, I think traveling teaches me a lot about myself, because every time I think I'm a certain way, when I'm exposed to new things, I see myself react differently. Like I may normally have not been someone that does like, let's say, salsa dancing, but I've realized that if you're with a group of friends, with the right people in the right place at the right time, you may just do it. So it's putting yourself in these situations more often that allows you to grow and allows you to learn more about yourself, which you never knew was possible.
Exactly. And which is your favorite place that you've traveled to?
I've traveled to quite a few places, not as many as I'd like, but my favorite place is where I went to school. So I love LA with all my heart. I feel like if not in Bangalore, I would be living there now. It's one of the most amazing places in the world. You can go skiing, you can go to the desert, and you can go to the beach in the same day. Where else in the world can you do that and have such good sunny weather?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. One question I want to ask, basically, this is with regards to people who have their own business, and they want to make a community. I've seen your community is a really interesting community because of the diversity you guys have, right? But for people who want to build a community, what is your advice to them? What could they do to build a nice community which is uplifting, or any kind of community basically that they want to build?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's a very good question, because every business today, every successful business thinks about it like they're building a community, because
Exactly.
it's that relationship with your customer, with your surrounding, the place in which your business is operating, whether it's online or offline, and that determines whether your business is going to succeed or not. So
Yeah.
I think it's a very good question, and as far as how it's happened with us, is that we didn't overthink it. We didn't try to plan for 6 months what should our community be, and then strategically based on this trend and this thing like veganism is good and stuff like that. We kind of just said we want to make this space. Think about 3 values that you have as an entrepreneur. Maybe being creative, maybe being kind, and maybe whatever else that word is for you. And start with those 3 things. That if someone asked you 3 words to describe yourself, start with those 3 words to establish the guidelines for your community, and then let people in. Open your doors on day 1. People will come and tell you, and you'll start realizing, okay, he came in, this guy, he may not be right for us, so our community doesn't stand for that. Okay, someone else came in, okay, she said this was a good point, let's make that a part of our community, and let people shape and build that community up from the foundation of those 3 pillars which you said.
Yeah, makes sense. And what about the importance of finding the right team members, which is very crucial, right?
Super important. Again, something that I've been very blessed with. We've had some amazing people over the years, both people who have stuck with us, like Bharat, our Chief Community Officer, who's been with us for more than 3 years. Vikram, our Chief Storyteller, who's been with us for more than 2 years. We have some amazing interns who have joined us, left. Some of them are still with us. Some of them we still talk to. But I think again, like with us, the way it worked, that's all I can speak of, right? Because I've been doing this for 3 years. If you have a feeling that someone understands your vision, if you're able to connect and they're able to see what you're trying to do, give it a shot and be positive with the whole experience. I know this is against a lot of advice that other entrepreneurs or experts might tell you, but the way I have done it is I've said, let's try it for a month. If it works, let's keep it going. If it doesn't work, no problem, we'll part as friends. And that's why a lot of people at the hub start off as interns. So it's a great way to reduce pressure for both people and to give them that freedom to kind of explore. So we give our interns very few tasks, like these are the things you have to do, the rest of it, surprise us. So the ones who manage to surprise us stay on and extend, and they end up doing a full-time role. So some of them are with us for up to a year or longer. And the ones who don't, we say, okay, maybe it wasn't the right fit. You learned something, we learned something. Let's move on. So I think just be, again, like just with any startup, being quick. Like if you think someone is right, bring them on. Try it out. If it doesn't work, jump next person. Instead of making it a big deal and like telling them, oh, trade secrets lock in for a year, that may be relevant for some companies, right? Like, but for a community space, I think that's a good approach if you want to build a community-centric business.
Okay. And who are the kind of people that normally come to the hub and organize events? Are these mostly, as you said, artists and events? Or let's say if somebody wants to the hub, what kind of target audience they can expect? How does it work at hub?
So right now, our target audience is the world. Anyone with an internet connection and a phone can log into Instagram, watch our events, or host an event with us. They're completely free to watch, completely free to host. We don't charge for anything. We're just doing this to kind of rediscover ourselves and to be of service to our community. This is our way of giving back. While you're stuck at home, we're trying to help you engage and learn and just stay connected. But how events work offline, how they used to work at the hub, is anyone would approach us with an idea. It could be anyone from Milind Somand and Pinkathon saying we want to do a press conference for a breast cancer awareness run that we want to do, and we want to do it at the hub. Or it could be a musician who approaches us saying, hey, I really want to do this. I'm an engineering student, but I want to pursue music. The next time you have a music event, could you call me? And then the next time someone else approaches us and they say, I want to do a music jam. Can I use your space? So we say, yeah, you can. And not only can you do that, there's this guy who wants to connect and kind of come up.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we just connect them and they do the event. So a lot of the events we do are free for our members, almost all of them. They're not ticketed highly, like a lot of other spaces charge high ticket prices or they keep it exclusive. We're not about that vibe. We're open. We're super diverse. So you may see a mother's yoga session happening for pregnant mothers. And then in the morning, and in the evening, you may see a bunch of teenagers like playing beer pong or doing something like that. So,
I've seen it.
Yeah. So literally on one side, there could be a birthday party of a kid, and another side, there could be like a photographer's meetup. So we pride ourselves on always being a space which is super exciting, something where everyone can say, we don't want to be a space where they say, no, mom, that's not for you. Or like, no, this isn't for you. That's the only thing we wanted to avoid. We wanted to be that flexible that we could work for anyone.
Makes sense. And one last question, Azaan. This is something that I asked almost all the guests on my podcast, right? So now let's imagine you're 26, 27. How old are you now?
Yeah, I think I'm something between 26 and 27.
Fair enough. So we're pretty much similar age. So let's imagine you are, let's say, 60, 65 years old, man. You've had an impact on the world, something that you wanted to do. You have made money. You have, everything that you want to do basically has come to life, right? Now it's the time that you're going to pass on, go in short words, tada bye-bye to the world. And you could give 2 advices to your kids. 2 advice only, right? It could be anything. What would those 2 advice be?
Wow. I love that question. I might just steal it because I'm asking a lot of people questions too. So interesting. I guess 2 advices. I would keep it 2 pieces of advice. I would keep it simple. One is talk less, do more. That's what's worked for me personally. You could talk about an idea for years, or you could start step by step working towards it. That's one thing. I think the second thing is, maybe just travel, because travel has been a game changer for me. So I don't know by the time I'm 65 whether people are wearing masks and like locked in glass chambers, or whether they're like,
that's crazy,
flying around all over the place because oil is free and everything is solar. But travel, meet new people, connect with new people, learn new things, maybe learn new languages. That's something I always wish I could have done. And just like, that's the best way to learn the world, right? We're here to explore. We're here to connect. So do that instead of being stuck behind a screen, which is so easy and easy to do.
And comfortable to do as well.
Comfortable as well, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Perfect, Azaan. So thank you so much for your time on the Growth Mindset podcast. It was a pleasure having you here.
Thanks for having me. Be safe, stay home, and
you too, man.
And link up with you. Right on.
Yes. Peace. Bye-bye.